On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we examine the latest Q posts, which include a message from Admiral Rogers and General Flynn. Plus, we talk about Google and everything that is wrong with that company. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, every episode starts the exact same way. I say thank you to all my subscribers. If you guys haven't hit that button yet, please come here to the landing page and hit the big red subscribe button. So we're going to get right into the latest post because it's going to be hopefully a short video. We're going to watch two incredibly awesome and informative videos that give us a good idea of what we're dealing with here when it comes to the individuals involved with this operation and a special message from General Michael Flynn. Now, we're going to start right here with this video, and I want to just share it with you. So you guys watch these videos, and then we'll talk at the end about Google and what is going on at that company with their obvious bias that's been exhibited by the latest leaked video that shows an internal meeting at the company.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
We do this for a reason. We do this to remind ourselves about what our mission in defending this nation is all about. It's about a legal framework codified in a document, the Constitution of the United States, that has framed this nation for its almost 240 years of existence. That's what we are about. We defend the citizens of this nation and those of our allies and friends around the world, always mindful of the law and the broader nation that we're a part of. And the oath also reminds us about the idea of obligation. That in assuming these responsibilities, the nation is counting on us, and that we realize that in executing these duties, we have an obligation over and above that of many other citizens. Whether it's the nature of the information that we're granted access to, whether it's the nation of the task that we are given. I thank each and every one of you that is both here today, as well as those of you more broadly across the enterprise. Our nation is served, in no small part, by the men and women of NSA, and more broadly, those who serve in a myriad of capacities, literally around the world. So I thank you all very much on behalf of the citizens of this nation for your dedication.
So there you go. That was it. Q says, "Remember your oath. United we stand, Q." And all I can say is that we need to show our support to the men and women who are serving bravely in the intelligence agencies who are working to expose this evil, especially those who are connected with Q. I think it's easy for us to overlook the fact that what we're dealing with here is not just your everyday coincidence that this person, this online persona, this collective is so attuned to what's going on, so adept at understanding this information and sharing it and disseminating it. And, I think we need to recognize that first and foremost and say thank you and say a prayer for the men and women who are serving bravely to do this job. So with that being said, let's watch this other video, and it's General Michael Flynn. And basically, he's giving this speech at a dinner, and we covered this in the last video, which I didn't even mention, by the way. If you guys want to watch the latest video, watch it right here. You can get more insight on everything that we talk about. We talk about this actual post from this dinner, I guess, where Michael Flynn posed with these two individuals who, according to you guys in the comments, I think one of the people in this picture is actually responsible for the Twitter account Educating Liberals. but I'm not sure about that. You guys will have to fact check me down in the comments. But if you guys want to watch this video, I encourage you to go back here, watch this video. Of course, as soon as I posted it, within 5 minutes, YouTube had demonetized it. But that's okay because the information's still up there. My only big concern with that is not about the money. I mean, obviously, I try to support myself and my family. Doing this is my career, and when they do that, it's an economic sanction that I think is completely unprovoked, unwarranted, and it becomes a form of discrimination. That aside, what I do think it does is it disallows videos to gain the traction that they should get. So, meaning when they market with this demonetization, my basic premise is not that it's necessarily not the main point being that it's something that's monetarily affecting the ability for me to work freely in the open free market, but more overly, when these videos get put into their suggested categories with the algorithms and how it kind of diverts that traffic, I think that it assigns a lower priority to videos that don't have full monetization. Simply, if not just for the simple fact that YouTube is a business that is trying to make money, and if a video is not fully able to monetize the content, then what incentive would they have to push that video to their subscriber or to their audience? I mean, and to me, it would seem that it would be quite limited, their incentive or motivation to do that. And I follow up with these people, but they never seem to want to give me a straight answer. So the best thing we can do is just watch this video, share it, hand share it, try to make it as big as you can, because this is the kind of information that they're terrified of, and that's why we have to put it up there. Because as I said to them, I didn't violate any of your policies. I haven't violated any of your guidelines. I don't understand why you're unfairly targeting videos, in my library constantly, and but still no reasonable answer from them. But we're going to talk about them at the end here. So that was a little bit of a rant aside to what we're talking about here and what we're about to watch, which is this General Flynn video. But again, go watch this video, watch these other videos, share them. Definitely is a great way to get that information. Now let's watch General Flynn give this incredible speech, and we're going to watch the whole thing from here forward until he finishes speaking, because it's important. And I believe in my, in what I'm doing here. I believe that what Q's doing is what's best for our country right now, is exposing this evil. And I do believe that General Flynn has a good idea of what Q is. So you guys can go ahead and watch this.
There's going to be a lot of people that will, especially in the back row, that will pay attention to whatever the heck I say, and want to make sure that they get the words that I say right, because I really believe in the things I'm going to say. And like I said, I spoke to General Singlov this week about serving America and what it means to both of us. And I want to share some of our thoughts with all of you tonight. Service to America requires us, today and tomorrow, to stand together as champions of freedom and soldiers of liberty who are on the right side of history. Anything less cannot be tolerated if our country is to survive. For many of us across our nation, we understand that this is not the first time that patriots have risen to this fight that we're in today. More than 200 years ago, more than 250 years ago, Patrick Henry, a great patriot who understood service to America, he warned his fellow countrymen that his choice against Great Britain's suppression of freedoms was crystal clear, as mine is tonight, as he described whether to accept slavery to a monarch or freedom. Seems like an easy choice. Almighty God, he said, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. What an amazing thing to say at a time for our birth of our country. Another great servant, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln fought for his vision to unite the North and the South as a new birth of freedom, so that all people would be treated equally without regard for color or race. In his very famous Gettysburg Address of 1863, at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery to honor Union soldiers who had died in the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln, President Lincoln, he inspired our nation, he inspired Americans to fight on, so that these dead shall not have died in vain, and that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, by you, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Nearly, in fact, just slightly over 100 years later, in his 1964 speech at the Republican National Convention, another great American servant, and subsequently President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, he redefined the very essence of why the fight by Americans against tyranny and injustice will never end, must never end. Reagan said, quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. This time, our America, the urgency to act is at the doorstep of our democracy. The future of this country depends on each one of you in this room tonight, and many, many others that you represent around our great country. This turning point is about the heart and soul of the United States of America. You cannot and must not be silent or take for granted that our great nation will not fall to the many threats that we face around the world, and some right here at home. It is time. It is absolutely time. It's time tonight. It's time this weekend. Never a better time. But it's time to buckle down and listen up and stand ready to fight for our way of life and our traditions. For those who oppose our fundamental principles could take us down in the snap of a finger. In my book, The Field of Fight, I stated, and it's on page 111 for anybody that wants to look if you got the book. I stated that we should not fear the Judeo-Christian principles that our nation was founded upon. We should not be in fear of that. We should cherish that. We should believe in that. We should be incredibly proud of that. I will always believe that. To those in the room this evening who have served in our military or serve as first responders, you represent our warriors around the world and across our country. And you all know what your respective battlefields look like. They are not pretty, and they are not perfect, definitely. And we fight or serve America not because, this is super important, we fight or we serve America not because we hate our enemies. It's because we love our country. We absolutely love the freedoms that we cherish. When we talk about why we fight, why does a soldier or a Marine or an airman, why do they do what they do on the battlefield? And it's always about the buddy next to them, the person on your right or your left. Deep down inside, it's about the way we want to live and the way we must continue to fight to live for. Super important. Our fight for individual freedom and liberty, as I described a little while ago, will also not be pretty nor perfect. We will be measured harshly. Trust me, we will be measured harshly, and our enemies will try to destroy us, but we cannot fail. There are moments in history that are seminal And then there are other moments that are monumental.
Wow. That is so incredible. I am so humbled and truly grateful that we have people like General Flynn out there promoting not only the Judeo-Christian values that our society is built on, but also promoting an incredible spirit, an indomitable spirit, a spirit of resilience, and a spirit of never giving up, and what it means to be an American. You love God, in my opinion, or whatever you do. I mean, it's freedom, really. But in my opinion, you have to look to God, and then you have this incredible gift of freedom, and it's all ensured by the Constitution. It's all backed by these cornerstones of our nation's makeup. But then there are men and women out there who are serving us every single day, and they're sacrificing, even if they aren't actually giving their lives. They're sacrificing their their time, their families, their whole lives to basically ensure that we have an opportunity to be successful and to be free and to enjoy the constitutionally guaranteed rights. And like General Flynn was saying in quoting Ronald Reagan, yes, that freedom that we take for granted is always just one generation away. And if we let our generation deteriorate into this lower level form of complete just nihilism, defeatism, and just complete social decay that is basically machined by these corporations that take advantage of individuals. They take advantage of you in every way possible. It's like one of the best things that I think's come out recently is when we talk about Google, which we're going to talk about right now. It says, if you're using this service and it's free, remember, you are the product, meaning you are the one who is being bought and sold. Your information is what Google is run off of. And in that, we're going to go ahead and look at this. Very interesting. There's a few things to point out here. First of all, this is an article out of The Intercept that came out a few days ago, talking about a senior Google scientist who has resigned over the forfeiture of our values, quote unquote, in his words, in China. Now, what is he talking about? Well, the article basically goes into the fact that this guy right here, you see his face, his name's Jack Paulson, and he was an engineer, machine intelligence department worker over at Google, and they were working on basically creating this search bot, basically, for the Chinese Google. So what it was, basically, according to the article here, it was a search system codenamed Dragonfly, which was designed to remove content that China's authoritarian government views as sensitive, such as information about political dissidents, free speech, democracy, human rights, and peaceful protest. Now, I would like to present to you tonight here my case about why this is the most pressing issue as far as a problem goes that we have ever faced as a society in the modern digital age. And I'll explain it by simply saying, look at what China does to their internet. Look at the way China lives. Look at how the authoritarian Communist Party there seems to be quite wealthy, and they have a very small burgeoning middle class. But the reality is that if you look at China demographically, it is incredibly opposite to what you would want here in the United States. That's the simple way to put it. And I'm not going to get into a derision or a breakdown of China, because I do a lot of research on China in my spare time, and that is going to be another channel hopefully somewhere down the line. But this is for me to say that you have an engineer working at Google who is realizing that what he is a part of is the literal embodiment of Orwell's 1984, where you have an authoritarian dictatorial regime coming in and actually literally becoming the thought police, becoming the arbiters of free speech and thought. Now, that is the antithesis of Western society, in my opinion. That is truly the antithesis of the U.S. Constitution and our principles as a nation. Now, when you examine this, you can see quite clearly that people of conscience will actually look at this and say, this is not on the level. This is not what we should be aiming for societally as a whole. Not just for China, but for ourselves. We cannot condone. I don't care where your business lies. I mean, it's one thing to have, open and free markets, but you have to have the regulatory capacity to say, we're not going to let Chinese companies sell us lead toys for our kids and then let them steal billions, if not trillions of dollars worth of intellectual property, while at the same time looking at it as, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and just ignore the fact that as a U.S. company that got its start here in the U.S., and as we've talked about before with Google, Google originated out of a lot of very deep research by the government. Now, for them to turn around and say that they're bigger than the government now, therefore they can pick winners and losers on the global scale, meaning they can side with China. That to me is the whole problem with it all. So we're gonna have to go ahead and just take a minute, and I want to share this video with you because it shows exactly what they think about. In my opinion, myself and a lot of people. We have how many people? We have 100,000 people subscribed. We have millions of views. So all of you guys out there, this is what they think about you.
Most people here are pretty upset and pretty sad because of the election.
It did feel like a ton of bricks dropped on my chest.
Trump specifically, who I know many of us find very offensive.
And I've had a chance to talk to a lot of fellow Googlers, and people have said different words, similar concept, how painful this is.
I find so many things that Trump said very offensive.
There is a lot of fear within Google.
I'm seeing Googlers who are full of fear.
There are people who are very afraid.
They're full of fear about the future.
I certainly find this election deeply offensive, and I know many of you do too. It's a very stressful time, and it conflicts with many of our values. Immigrants or minorities, women,
blacks, people who are afraid based on religion, the LGBTQ community.
I would just advise us all to be calm.
That's what they think of you. And to me, we have to understand that that is not representative of our whole country, and it seems incredibly biased and skewed, and to the tune of an incredible proportion, because if you think about it, the proportion of control that they exhibit or exert over each, or basically all information that's digital, compared to the 50 million people representative of basically half of the population that they basically don't agree with and seem to have a complete bias against. That to me is really disturbing, especially when it comes to it's seemingly using their platform to disallow others with basically dissenting opinions from being able to voice their content fairly and in a free sense, where they're not targeted by these rules that have been created to exclude individuals from the business aspect of the internet itself as a whole. When you have one of the largest conglomerate companies in the world, it only stands to reason for you to have to play in a fair way. So that's pretty much my whole 2 cents on it for now. We'll have more updates in the future, obviously, but I appreciate you guys coming and tuning into the show. If you guys want to stick around for a second, we have some important announcements and things we always share. First of all, if you want to help out the channel, the best way to do it is to come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, you'll be notified as soon as these videos get posted. The second best way is to share the videos, I guess. Watch the videos. Let me know what you think. All that helps out big time as well. Also, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights down in the comments. And guys, I've been going down in the comments lately, and we've been getting a lot of people coming in there with some just crazy stuff. So I don't know what's going on down there, but it's just weird. I go down there and there's people leaving these hateful remarks, and they just have nothing positive to contribute. So I encourage you all to remember, when you go down there to comment, if you go down there with a negative impulse, I really believe you're not going to be able to have a positive discussion. But if you go down there with the intent of having a real discussion, then you're going to find the people that will agree with you, and you'll have a great conversation. So just be wary, and remember, don't feed the trolls. Meaning, when people write negative stuff, rather than engage them, unless you feel that you have to, I would really suggest that you just kind of encourage positive dialogue and have positive discourse. You can have a discourse without it having to be in too negative of a sense. And I think you all can use your discernment. There is a big difference between, people who disagree with you and people who are just violent or hateful and have a complete prejudice and have a complete inability to objectively have a discussion. So that to me is something that you have to be wary of, especially when you go down in the comments of this video. But I really encourage you to have that discourse. Also, speaking of a place to have discourse, I told you guys before about this Q research. I'm just trying to get it up. It's just for you guys who like the channel and want to get involved. Basically, you just go to justinformednews.com, and then there's a bar right here for Q research. I'll make sure that this forum is open and people are able to get in. But yeah, if you guys want to use it, I know Great Awakening has been pulled. Everything's getting pulled. So this could just be a great place for you guys to come and use as a place to exchange ideas and to have a good conversation with like-minded individuals, obviously, and that helps to further the investigatory research that we all do, because that's a part of the process here. Now, that being said, also come find me on Twitter at Justin_formed. That's a cool way to come find me and help out and talk to the channel. I really appreciate, I'm trying to get all the videos and content up here. There's articles and there's just all types of stuff. If you want to hear my opinion on when I get going into different things, then you can come here and find that out. If you want to just get the articles and the videos, you can come here and get that as well. So it's a great tool and resource for you. And there's one more way to help out, and it's basically if you want to help out financially. You can come over here to patreon.com. That's patreon.com. And like I said, the demonetization thing, it's just is what it is. I don't even worry about it anymore because I put my whole faith in God, and I'm really, really blessed to be able to do what I do. So I just keep doing it every day, no matter what. Then, but again, not to get too sidetracked from here, go to Patreon, patreon.com. Then you come here, you search Just Informed Talk. When you come to this page, click this button to become a patron. Obviously, when you get there, it's a monthly donation. If you guys don't want to do the monthly donation, that's why I set this up. You're welcome. GoFundMe.com/just-informed. You just come here, you can click this button, donate now, and you can give whatever you can or want to. I really appreciate it, and I depend on you guys and your generosity, and I really can't tell you how much it means every time that you guys do help out. So that being said, tonight's video is going to end in kind of a funny way. Before we do that, I want to take you over and just show you that, yes, I'm very much looking forward to coming to the American Priority Conference in Washington, D.C., and it's going to be in December, December 6th through 8th. So if you guys are interested in getting involved with this conference, you can come here to AmericanPriority.com. You can register today. And if you guys want 5% off, use the coupon code JustInformedNews. That'll give you 5% off. But I'm so excited to be involved in this conference. And there's going to be so many great people. My friend Alex Phillips is basically running the whole thing, and it's going to be a great conference. There's going to be so many great people there. And you know what? We're going to see people that we may not agree with, but that is fine because we want to have conversations. We want to talk about these things. And if you guys want to find out more about the information, you can even get whatever you want from this website about the whole conference itself. So you can go here to AmericanPriority.com and click here to register if you guys want to get involved with that. But that'll be December 6th through 8th this year, 2018, in Washington, D.C. at the Marriott Wardman Park Hotel. So that being said, tonight I want to share a few proverbs with you, if that would be okay. I'm sitting here and I'm looking through Proverbs, and I always read them, and they just, a lot of them can really uplift my soul and prepare me for what I need every day. But I found Proverbs chapter 28, verses 1 through 7, and they stuck with me, and I wanted to share them with you. So here, I'm going to read this to you real quick, and I just want these to really, each one kind of land as they will, and help supplement your Christian armor in the world around you. So it says, "The wicked flee when no one is pursuing them, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. When a land is in rebellion, it has many rulers, but with a discerning and knowledgeable person, it endures. A destitute leader who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain that leaves no food. Those who reject the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law battle against them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand everything. Better a poor man who lives with integrity than a rich man who distorts right and wrong. A discerning son keeps the law, but a companion of gluttons humiliates his father." And you know what? I could not have said it better myself when it comes to just explaining how we have to view our struggle. We have to view our lives. We have to view our relationship to God. We have to understand that these little bits of wisdom are what will ultimately deliver us. And understanding that living with integrity, this is an important value, I think, that we seldom remember, especially when you look at the way kids are indoctrinated by this culture of hate in music, whether it's in rap or in other forms, or just nihilism or Satanism even. It's out there, and it's brainwashing the youth. And then also you have television where they glorify evil, they glorify all types of immorality, and they brainwash children that way. And then the movies, you have these people, like, look at the directors of the movies who endorse these sick jokes that are just completely outside of the norm. And then while at the same time they're the ones creating these narratives that are being saturated into our youth's minds. And that's why when we talk about the whole generation being that much further away, we have to remember that we have to live in a time where we understand that having strong leadership is important, having men of action is important, having an ability to understand justice is important, having an ability to uphold the law is important, having integrity is important. These things, they're the basis on which we should build a foundation to become better men and women of God in everything that we do, in every sense of the true meaning of that. So I just want you guys to know that God is with us. God will light that fire within you. All you have to do is open your heart up to Him. Start praying. Start doing whatever you have to do to improve that relationship, to make it better, to expand it. And then once you do that, you will be saved, and you will have an incredible life of many blessings. I'm sure of that. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode. I really want to say thank you all for watching. Again, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Come here, click the big red subscribe button. It really helps me out. But that's going to be it for me. You guys stick around for more episodes. They'll be coming right around the corner, I'm sure. But have a great night. God bless each and every one of you. But thank you for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed. And God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.